stop scrolling. Seriously, stop right now. Because the 2026 FIFA World Cup is about to change global football forever. If you think you know how this tournament works, yeah, think again. Kicking off on June 11th, this thing is breaking absolutely every record in sports history. Over the next few minutes, we're going to lay out the ultimate playbook in this explainer, so you don't miss a single kickoff, goal, or history-making moment of this cinematic sports spectacle. Let's get into it. 104. We are talking about a staggering 104 matches. That is a massive, massive escalation in the sheer volume of high-stakes football we're about to witness. It's literally off the charts. In those matches, they'll be fought over by 48 teams. Keep that intense countdown energy going in your head because this expansion adds 16 more squads to the roster compared to what we saw in Qatar back in 2022. The scale here is simply unprecedented. 39. That's how many days this global juggernaut is going to consume. It's going to be an absolute endurance test for the players, the managers, and yeah, for us fans too. 39 non-stop days of action. And finally, 3. For the very first time ever, the tournament is spreading across a trio of host countries. The USA, Mexico, and Canada are uniting to create a continental battleground unlike anything we've ever seen before. Okay, let's dive right into this. To make sense of this massive roadmap, we're breaking this explainer down into 3 strategic pillars. We'll cover the 3 massive firsts for 2026. The 3-nation co-hosting, the huge 48-team roster, and those 104 matches culminating on July 19th in New York, New Jersey. Alright, starting with Pillar 1, the new format. So if you're making assumptions based on the old formats, you're going to miss out entirely. FIFA has completely rewritten the script here. Typically, we'd see groups of 4, where only the top 2 teams advance. Pretty simple, right? Well, forget what you know. For 2026, we now have 12 groups of 4 teams. Groups A all the way through L. The top 2 from each group still advance, giving us 24 teams. But here is the absolute game changer. The 8 best third-place teams get a lifeline. They advance too. And that creates a brand new, highly volatile knockout round. Let's walk through this grueling new tactical path to the trophy. The group stage runs until June 27th. Then, immediately the next day, on June 28th, boom, we hit the brand new round of 32. This is where things get absolutely wild. Because of those third-place lifelines, we're going to see chaotic, super unpredictable matchups. I mean, imagine the winner of Group A suddenly facing the third-place team from Group C, E, F, H, or I. It's crazy. From there, it's the familiar gauntlet we all love. The round of 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, and finally, the final on July 19th. So the crucial point to take away is this number right here, 8. To lift that iconic golden trophy, a team now has to survive 8 matches instead of the traditional 7. That means more football, but crucially, significantly more fatigue. Squad depth isn't just a nice-to-have advantage in 2026, it is literally going to be the ultimate difference maker between going home early and achieving absolute immortality. Moving right along to Pillar 2, powerhouses and key dates. Let's map out exactly when and where the absolute titans of world football will clash. The calendar kicks off with a massive bang on June 11th. We've got the opening match, Mexico taking on South Africa at Stadio Azteca. And this is incredibly historic, guys, because Azteca will be the first stadium ever to host 3 World Cup openers. Just iconic. The very next day, June 12th, the other host nations take the stage. Canada opens at home in Toronto, and the USA kicks off their campaign out in Los Angeles. Make sure you circle June 28th, that's when the chaotic round of 32 begins, all leading up to the ultimate showdown on July 19th. Now, here's a quick pro tip that fundamentally changes the strategy for the host nations. The host countries are already pre-slotted into their venues. This means Mexico knows right now that it plays all its Group A games in Mexico City and Guadalajara. The USA and Canada are getting similar incredibly valuable home soil treatment. So if you're planning travel or setting up viewing parties, knowing these locked-in locations gives you a massive head start. And that brings us to Pillar 3, the 16 host stadiums. We are mapping out the massive geographic battlegrounds across the entire North American continent. To cut down on insane travel times for these 48 teams, FIFA strategically split the 16 host cities into 3 distinct battleground regions: Western, Central, and Eastern. The Western region covers the Pacific Coast. We're talking Vancouver, Seattle, the SF Bay Area, and LA. The Central region holds down the middle, with Guadalajara, Mexico City, Monterrey, Houston, Dallas, and Kansas City. And finally, the Eastern region spans Atlanta, Toronto, Boston, Miami, Philly, and New York, New Jersey. Now, within those regions, there are some absolutely legendary venues you need to keep your eyes on. Down in Mexico, the historic Estadio Azteca is joined by Estadio Akron and Estadio BBVA. Out in Los Angeles, the architectural absolute marvel that is SoFi Stadium will host the USA opener. And of course, you've got the epic scale of MetLife Stadium in New York, New Jersey, taking the ultimate honor of hosting the final on July 19th. But hey, if you're looking for sheer volume and non-stop atmosphere, Dallas and Atlanta are the heavyweight champions here. They both host the maximum number of matches for any city, 9 matches each. Plus, Dallas brings the biggest stadium of the entire tournament to the table with a jaw-dropping 94,000 seats. If you want to experience the absolute peak of World Cup atmosphere, those are for sure your premier destinations. So, let's pull all of this together into one final cinematic roadmap. 48 teams, 16 cities, 104 matches, 1 trophy. With 48 squads entering the fray and that new lifeline for 8 third-place teams, the gap between the heavy favorites and the passionate underdogs is smaller than it has ever been in football history. The margins are razor-thin, guys, and the stage is perfectly set for pure drama. Which leaves us with one final, pretty provocative thought as we wrap up this explainer. Which underdog pulls off the biggest upset? Will it be South Africa shocking the world in the opening match? Will Canada ride that massive home crowd momentum to a giant-killing victory? Drop your wildest, boldest underdog prediction in the comments right now. Seriously, I read every single one. Thanks so much for joining me to decode the biggest celebration in football, and I will see you on June 11th for kickoff.